Good morning, ladies. Am I smiling? I can't tell. This look is plastic surgery gone wrong. So I got a facelift, lip injections, and a nose job. I want to inspire you with this look to be the true romance queen that you are, to be a great wife. It's in your DNA. When you try to be something fake and be someone else, it never quite turns out right. So be the wife that God created you to be. All right, stay tuned for tomorrow's look. Bye. Have a great day. Good morning, ladies. Day 2. In marriage, there's always a tear straight down the middle. On one side, sometimes you feel like no matter how much you love your husband, you just want to turn, walk away, and let it burn. But on the other side, there's times when you're so naturally beautiful, you just want to stay and work it out. Day to day, each woman has to make their choice. What is your choice? All right, stay tuned for day 3. Hello, ladies. Hi. Good Friday. Doing something that I absolutely hate, but as queens, if our hubby likes it, we have to give in sometime. We're actually at the nursery, picking out flowers. You can see the hubby back there in the back with our cart loaded up. All right, till next time, bye.
Guys, welcome to the School of Rockstars. Again, we are going to meet new guest on our show, Becoming Rockstars. She is a romance coach. She helps you in your relationship for strong and healthy relationship. And she is a wife, blogger, speaker, and she is a beautiful soul and mother of 2 kids. So I got this up. I just messaged her, I want to speak to you over live, and she said, yes, we have to do it. I'm so honored to take this interview with her. She is romance queen Sonya. Let's welcome her. Hi.
I'm so excited.
Yes. How are you? Can you tell me, hello, ladies?
Hello, ladies.
I love that.
Thank you. I'm so honored. I'm so honored.
You are awesome. I love your transformations, daily transformations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have a blast. I have so much fun doing them.
Why you started doing that transformations every day? What is the reason behind that?
For the transformations?
Yes.
To get us to think out of the box and to have a little fun, because sometimes with marriage we can get in the day-to-day and act like we're just dead or just boring. And so the looks came about to inspire you to think differently and to have fun.
Awesome. You are doing that.
Thank you.
You're adding some value.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to know more about your story. Who is Sonya before starting this life coaching, and why you started this, and what made you to start this?
Cool. Okay, well, I've been married for 25 years. So when
Awesome.
I first met my husband, we were so in love, we were so excited. And then with planning the wedding, then we got married. And then it was like, what do I do? I mean, how do I be a good wife? So I was looking for all kind of research, and typically it's 3 places we look when we first get married. I got married in college, but a lot of women are getting married younger. They're getting married right out of high school. So typically we go to 3 places. The first place we go to is our friends, or the world, if you would call it. And our friends doesn't really know much more than we know. So you might hear any kind of crazy thing from bring other people in the bedroom, or don't worry about that. Let him take care of himself, you take care of yourself, you just still act single. So I knew that wasn't right. The second place is the church, which I'm a Christian girl, which they will tell you to wait until you're married to have and even talk about sex. That's a subject that's saved for marriage. But then once you get married, when you bring up the subject, they look at you like you have a demon or something, because you're asking a question about sex. So I'm like, well, and there's two things in my experience that the church didn't want to talk about: sex and money. But the problem is we need and want both. So,
Yes,
so
they are very important.
I couldn't really get the answer there. And then it was the third place is your family, which most families are not open to the subject of talking about sex. And let's be honest, even if they are, do you really feel comfortable going home and say, well, Mom, how am I supposed to make love to my husband? I mean, that's just something you just,
Yes.
so what's a girl to do? So I was just at a crossroad. I'm like, man, I want to be a great wife. I want to do this. I'm a Christian and I believe in God, but I mean, I want some ecstasy too. I mean, but I want to know why I was created. So it was just a back and forth. And so that's where kind of the romance queen kind of came into play, because I wanted to bridge that gap. I wanted to know why I was created, what God had in mind when he created me as a woman, as a wife. What am I? What are these feelings I'm having? What should I do with them? And then on this side, how do I have fun? How do I incorporate the things that I really like? How do I know how to kiss? Something so simple, but no one wants to talk about it. How do you learn? How do you learn how to kiss? How do you learn how to hug? How do you learn the intimacy part? So I wanted to bridge that gap. So I studied everything I could about marriage, everything I could about sex, everything I could about the human body, everything I could about how women are wired, how men are wired. And then I studied. I studied. First of all, I studied my husband. Most of the time, men they speak all the time, but usually it's nonverbal. They really don't talk. So when they make these little gestures, like my husband will rub his head, that means something. So I need to know what that means. And then I studied my dad. I studied my grandpa. I studied the pastor. I studied men that I would see, all young, old. I would always just be, okay, all right. How do they do this? Why do they do that? Why do they do that? And then I studied the Bible. And I studied everything I could about bad girls in the Bible, men in the Bible, Christianity, everything I could get my hands on. I even studied porn. Yes, I did. Because there's a reason why this is a multi-billion-dollar company. And especially when I got to studying it, and I found that 37% were women, were married women and Christian women. But they wanted to get educated. They simply did not know what to do. So that's how it kind of got started, and it just kind of blew from there. But I really, really, really have a passion for romance and marriage, because I don't think love is enough. Love is important, but it's not enough. You can love someone and not be with them. I feel that it's the romance that keeps that together, that keeps that relationship together.
Awesome. And when you tell your husband, I want to take this as a business opportunity and this is my passion, what's his expression and what is his reply?
Well, actually, it came about through my husband, because I would get a lot of ladies that would come and they would just kind of stare like, you kind of weird, but kind of in a good way. And they would ask for advice or ask, why are you studying that? What are you studying? What are you doing? And I would give them advice. And my husband was like, wow, they're taking a lot of your time. You should be compensated for that. And he gets excited. I bring him aboard. So everything I coach, everything I try, I run it through him first. And I said, okay, honey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Or how so he's involved with me. So he's my little romance king. So everything goes through him first before I put it out there.
The success you get, there is a man behind your success.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And I really love the status you put, I saw in one of your posts saying that real wives are soldiers. That is your
Yes.
first post.
Yes, they are. And a lot of women have that misconception or that I don't have to work with that. We got married, we're done. Everything's good. We're going to be happy. Everything's great. It takes work. It takes work. You truly have to be a soldier. You have to be intentional on making that marriage work. You have to be intentional on this is what we're going to do. And I truly believe that the wife sets the tone of the home. We're the ones that set the tone. I mean, we can
Yes.
be bouncing off our hormones. We can be this way 1 minute, this way 1 minute. We're just all over the place. So I feel that we have to center that and focus on what we want the goal to be and take it serious. I write goals out. I have a goal poster. Oh, I should have brought it in here. I have a goal poster of marriage goals that I want to accomplish. And I have things that I want to get better at. I have things that I strive to get better at daily. And sometimes it's a constant like, okay, Sonya, okay. But it's worth it in the end, and the reward is out of this world. And I love studying couples that's been married 50, 60, even 70 years. My grandparents were married 65 years. So I love studying those couples, and you will find a lot of similarities in your relationship and their relationship. So I love that. I love that.
Like when you studied your husband and your father, what is a common thing you noticed, or what is the difference you noticed?
The common thing is they don't talk a lot, but they
Okay.
communicate. It's just a different way of communicating. And it's not about my grandfather. I'll use him for an example. He's a very quiet man. And he's always looked like he has this mean look on his face, like he's always in a bad mood. But really, he's not. So, but my grandmother know those signals. And we would say, why is grandpa always mean? And she's like, no, he's not mean. Why would you say he was mean? We're like, look at him. He looks mean. He looks mad. And she said, no, he's just got a lot on his mind. So she knew those signals. When he would come in, he wouldn't say anything. He would come and walk through the house. He would just come through every room and just look. And we were thinking, what in the world is he looking for? But he would come in and he would look for the same spot to lay his hat, and he would go straight to the restroom. That was his detox. So I had to learn that, okay, it's not about jumping him right when he come home, telling him about all our day. My grandmother, she stayed in there. She kept doing what she was doing. When he would come out of the bathroom, which usually would be about 30 minutes later. When he would come out, then she would say, how was your day? I have your dinner ready for you. He would not answer until after he sat down, said his grace, then he would talk. That's how he would open up, but that was his language, and she was okay with that. She says, this is how he does. I stay out of his way to allow him time to detox before I pour my day on him. He will accept it, and he would hear it better because he's been given all day. Now it's time for him to come home to a place that's calm, a place where he can sit and relax and enjoy. And I was like, wow, I'm gonna write that down. So I love that. So I just love studying the little bitty things. And then I saw some similarities in my husband. My husband will do the exact same thing. He won't look for a place for his hat, but he'll come in and he'll just kind of, he'll give a deep breath. That lets me know that it's been a trying, rough day. So now is not really the time that I need to tell him something that's going to bring him down. Now is the time to just kind of keep it calm, keep a smile on my face, and keep a distance until he's ready to hear about my day. And even with my son he's more my grandpa because he's very quiet and he's very set in his little ways as well. But even studying him, small children, I study them as well because girls react different to little boys. So they need a different kind of nurture. than the girls would need. So just studying that, I love that.
Awesome. And like, how do you handle, like, what are the tips you can say, how to handle a fixed mindset in a relationship?
And how to handle, say it again?
Fixed mindset.
Oh,
Fix.
yes. Now I get a lot of those. And it's kind of like seeing things different. I'll give you an example. I worked with the lady and everything about her was negative. But it wasn't, she didn't mean to be. She just came off that way because of some past hurts that she had in her relationship. She said, my husband, he just allows these women to just look at him and he won't stop. The women, they come at him constantly. They try to give him their phone number. He won't stop it. They come through, they're giving him compliments. He won't stop it. And it's just making me, it's disrespectful to me. She will go on and on and on. And I asked her, I said, well, let me ask you a question. When you look at your husband, are you attracted to him? She said, well, what does that have to do with anything? I said, just a simple question. When you look at him, are you attracted to him? She said, well, yes. I said, well, why wouldn't other women be attracted to him? Why wouldn't they? He's an attractive man. When you look at him, you desire him. When they look at him, they don't really care that he's yours. They desire him. And I told her, I said, think of it like this. At the time she was eating, they had some kind of chicken dinner at work. So I said, okay, that's your chicken. If you're not hungry, just say you're not hungry, but you're not full either. You're kind of in between. And I sit down next to you and I have some chicken. I've got a biscuit. It's piping hot. And I'm eating it. It's crunchy. Instantly, don't your nose kind of, especially if this is your favorite food, and you kind of like, wow, your mouth kind of waters. You want a piece of it. It doesn't matter that it's mine. You can't help the feeling that you kind of want it, you desire it, and you've got questions about it, and then you're scooting up closer, just to smell it. I said, it's the same thing with your husband. Honey, you have a 2-piece crispy chicken dinner with a biscuit. It smells good. It looks good. They want it. That doesn't have anything to do with you. She laughed. She said, I can't believe. I said, they can't help it, sweetie. The only thing you can do is know what you have and appreciate it. He's not going to stop them from giving him compliments because he likes that. He needs that.
Yes.
When was the last time that you gave him one? Now, your job is to be the first one to give it to him. I am the president and CEO of my husband's fan club. I mean, no one can beat me telling him how good he looks, how much I love him. Oh, he's sexy. Oh, you look nice. Ooh, what's that smell? And then if I forget, I'm like, oh, where's my phone? Hey, you look good. You smell good. You be the president and CEO of it. So he'll already know when he leave home, he'll know, but dang, I've got a lady that thinks I am all of that and a bag of chips. So then when those ladies come and try, he's like, okay. It kind of rolls off a little bit better.
Yes.
Way. And that just kind of tilted her vision a little bit. I always like to say I'm an optometrist. I just like to fit those glasses a little bit, tweak that vision a little bit. So if you see it in a different way, you can approach it in a different way instead of seeing the negative part, because no one is going to stop the positive feedback that they're getting. If someone tells you every day, you're beautiful, you know, you're a very nice person, even if you're not thinking about it, it just kind of, oh, well, thank you. And then if you see them, you'll pass them, you'll just find yourself like, oh, well, hi, hello. Just because of that positivity that they've given you. The same thing with your husband. He wants that positivity. He wants that affirmation. He wants that attention. I choose to let it come from me first.
And I also learned from my parents, like they are married like since 34 years.
All right.
So yes, I learned from them like they are very patient and they are consistent and they teach us how to be good at that right situation.
Mm-hmm.
And like my father loves food, so my mother is a very good cook.
It. That's it.
Yes. And like first she'll ask how it is, and if he gives compliments, she's like she feels very very happy.
Yeah.
That makes her day.
Yes, I am with her 100%. I love when my husband just putting a smile on his face. I love that. I love it. Packing his lunch, I get a thrill out of packing his lunch. Something so simple, but it means a lot to me. So when I miss packing his lunch, I'm like, oh gosh, I was so busy I couldn't pack his lunch. And he'll even say, oh, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal, but it is to me because I take pride in it. And I coach that. If you give and give, the joy of giving will take over and you will get the pleasure in that alone, just by giving and just by doing and seeing the smile on their face. Because men are, they want the big picture and the bottom line, period.
And I also learned that I noticed my father loves to do exercise, like not go for a walk early in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and also after coming back he loves to drink lemon water, like warm water with lemon and honey.
Uh-huh.
So he loves that. So, but he needs a company. So my mom goes along with him for
That
a walk.
that's it. I love it. I love it.
and and also they drink that short, like lemon water. They drink together,
Mm-hmm.
talking something. They're
Yes.
spending that time together.
Yes, and that's very important. I love that. I love that. And I can tell you that means the world to your dad and to your mom as well because she gets the pleasure.
She gives,
He's happy.
yes,
Yes, I love it.
because like she finds that happiness. I can see that.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love it.
And someone is asking you a question like, what do you do with the relationship? Because I have a boyfriend, but we fight a lot. I don't know what to do.
You have a boyfriend and you fight a lot? I would have to know like what exactly are you fighting about? Is it is it physical fight? Is it words? So that could be, I would need a little more detail with that one.
Yeah, like she replied that my boyfriend makes me mad sometimes because he talks to other girls and it gets me kind of mad.
Oh, got you. Okay. The very first thing I would say is, what about him talking to other girls makes you mad? Are you the jealous type? Is he the flirty type? So you have to deal with that because with women, a lot of times it's within. It's within, and other women will feed off of you getting upset. They would feed off of that. And so they would enhance it and keep it going, but he's not going to stop it, sweetie, because that's attention. So it would have to be you dealing with inside. What is it about that person or that girl or those girls? What gets you angry about it? What gets you angry about the situation?
Yeah, she says I'm a jelly type.
Usually it comes from women that's pretty jealous. Usually it does. Now I have one lady that I'm working with that she's extremely jealous, and it doesn't take anything to just kind of set her off. So I'm working with her to deal with that with on the inside because usually it's some kind of insecurity that we as women are dealing with that they really don't care anything about. I mean, it could be something like, well, one of my teeth, it kind of sits down like a fang, and I'm kind of self-conscious, and he hadn't even noticed. And it's like, who cares? But the one thing that we're self-conscious about is one of our best features. That's weird. So the one thing that she was self-conscious about, if you would ask anyone what's her best feature, that thing would be it. So it's about dealing with that insecurity or whatever that may be, and not bringing that into the relationship.
She says that I feel like he's losing feelings for me.
Oh, well, that's where communication comes in. Talk to him, because we can assume and we can just go all in our heads about different things, and our guys don't really care or don't even really know what we're talking about. So it's about dealing with what's in, then communicating with him. But now, if you don't communicate, hey, I want you to stop this. That's not what I mean. I mean communicating and first dealing with yourself, and then listening and looking what attracts him to that person. What is it? And I always like to ask the question, if your man is cheating on you, do you know what type of woman it is? Do you know what she looks like? Is she tall? Is she short? Is she a great listener? Is she kind of snappy? Is she reserved? When would they talk? How would they communicate? Because that's key. And a lot of women, especially women that are jealous, don't want to take their mind there. But that's very important, because if you have the combination, you can get into anything and anyone. And we as women can give away our combination, then get mad when other women open the lock. So be careful not to give away your combination. So if you're fussing all the time, oh, she's jealous. Oh, 20 to the right. Oh, and then she's neck popping and snapping and oh, 10 to the left. Now you're clowning him in public. So now y'all are fussing and fighting in public. 2 to the right, honey, she's in. So you have to stop giving out your combination. That's what I would give you. That's key. Don't give out the combination to your lot. Understand your lot and learn the combination, but don't give it out.
And what are the ground rules for happy marriage?
Communication. That is the very first thing. Communication, and commitment. It's not instant. You gotta work at it. It is hard work. It is not easy, because you're two different people coming together trying to make it work. So you have to communicate, because 9 times out of 10, what I said and what he heard is two different things. Prime example. My husband said, oh, you know what? I want to surprise you. I want to take you to Victoria's Secret. They have a sale on panties and bras. Like, I'm going to Victoria's Secret. So we're in the panty section. We're sitting there, and I said, well, honey, thank you so much. I said, well, it was 7 pair. I said, well, I'll pick 5 that I like. You pick 2 that you like. So we're in the section that I'm like, oh, this is cute. Oh, this is cute. Well, he walks off. He comes back with something that looks kind of like this. So I thought, oh my. I said, well, what is that? He said, well, these are the 2 pair I like. You said I could get 2 pair. I said, well, that ain't what I didn't mean that. He said, well, that's what you said. You said get 2 pair that I like. I meant we're in the section that I wear. So choose 2 colors that you like, and I will choose 5 colors. But that's not what I said. He heard, okay, now honey, go get the panties that you like, and that's what I'm going to wear. So that's a prime example of me saying one thing, but I'm meaning something else.
Yes.
So it can easily be done. So that's where the communication comes in. And there's like, oh no, sweetie, that's not what I meant. But okay, but yeah, we can roll with it. Okay, since I have 5 that I like, these 2 that you like, I can roll with those. And it's about compromise. So communication, commitment, and compromising. And learning
Awesome.
to choose your battles as well, and not to sweat the small stuff. Sometimes we can sweat the small stuff that really doesn't it really doesn't mean anything.
And like, how do you identify your partner's selfish desires?
As in selfish desires, as in what?
Like they have something to do, achieve, how, but they can't communicate or express.
Got you. Okay. You have to learn how they communicate. That's key. Learning how they communicate. My husband communicates more nonverbal than verbal. And then just by watching and keeping my emotions at bay and understanding why he does what he does, why he wants what he wants, why, and it's no right or wrong. It is what it is. And understanding that and being okay with that. Because we're raised totally different. I'm a girl, he's a guy. We're raised two separate households. So things that I might interpret like, wow. And it might be common for him. And some that I might want, he's just like, whoa. So it's understanding that difference. Understanding that. And then coming together and communicating to come together for a common goal, to move forward in the marriage relationship.
Yeah. Like, do you think one of the partners' low self-esteem is problem to their like a relation?
It can be an issue. It can be an issue, and that issue has to be dealt with. Low self-esteem can really just trickle down a spiral of issues, especially jealousy. And jealousy is something that's used to destroy the relationship and destroy the marriage. So if you're the one that's jealous in the relationship, you really, really, really need to come to terms with that and deal with that, because it can hinder the relationship.
Sometimes you go crazy, any of the partners. Like, how do you stop yourself from acting crazy?
That can be difficult to do. But I advise thinking before you respond, before you give that response. I like to always count to 10. I usually make it to 7, but I'm trying to get to 10. But right now I'm currently at a 7. But in my head, just counting to 10 and thinking about it. Is this really what I need to say? Is it nice? Is it necessary? And will it help the situation? Those are the questions that I ask myself before I speak. Because usually the first thing that pops out just instant, it's more that defense. It's the defense, because I don't know if you meant that to hurt my feelings, or I don't know what you were trying to say. So usually if we sit back and count to 10 in our head and think about it, okay, is this nice? Is it necessary? And is it going to help the situation before we speak? That seems to help.
And another thing I learned from my parents is that, like, if they have any problem, they won't show up to, like, in front of the kids. They won't show that. Yes. And also, yes, because like it makes the kids' mind like a bad. I don't know how to express it, but
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Now, that's something that my husband and I agreed with early on when our kids were very small. We do not argue in front of them. We do not separate or choose sides in front of them. If there's a situation, we would always go to our room and discuss it, or they would go to their room and we will discuss it, and we will come back together and give the outcome of this. So we have to get on the same page in private. Every time, we never argue in public. That's something that we have to bring home. We have to talk about privately, and then come together to give that decision or that punishment or that conversation to our kids together as mom and dad agreed on this. So it's not, well, mom thinks this way, but dad thinks this way. Mom and dad thinks this way. These are the rules for the house. These are the rules that we come together and give you, because they can easily play sides. So we took that away and we come together in private to bring it to them. And another thing that is very important is not carrying arguments over the next day, the next week. So if we're upset today, we know when the sun go down and we go to bed, once we wake up, we vow not to bring up anything negative that happened the day before. Now, of course, I've been many a nights, I'm like, oh, I stay up so I gotta get it all out before I go to bed. But that's, get it all out before you go to bed. Deal with it before you go to bed. Then the next day, move forward. Don't bring that into the new day, because it's a new beginning and we're going to start fresh today. Now, that's something that actually my husband came up with. And he said, well, no matter how mad we are, no matter what the disagreement is, I want us to deal with it within that day and not continue it to the next day. Now, he was on board quickly. He just instantly, it took me a little minute. I had to fight everything not to bring it up that next morning because I wasn't finished, but I did, and it worked out well. That was something that I really, really appreciated later on. I'm like, wow, that makes a huge difference, not holding that animosity or holding that anger to the next day.
That's what I learned from my parents. Like when they have something to talk, they'll go and they'll talk personal, like in the private. They go into the separate room and they discuss there, and they come out and they'll tell the decision.
Yes, I love that.
And like how if sometimes we had we'll come up with hard conversations, like finding how to find the right time to have that hard conversations. Like
set a time, set aside. I advise not letting it linger. So if it's a hard conversation that needs to be had, it's just best to go ahead, set a quiet time, usually not when it's heated. So if you're heated and you're upset, that's not a great time. Wait till you calm all the way down and set a time like, we need to discuss this. And not having over expectations that they're going to come in and just instantly open up, because it usually takes guys a little bit longer. Now we can just go, but it usually takes them a minute. So being patient, being calm, and talking about the facts of the situation and how you could move forward.
Like what are the things you do to inspire your partner?
Oh, wow. Oh, how long do you have? I have so much going on up here. I have so many things I want to do. I have so many activities I want to do. So I have to kind of tame the ideas in my head. So I work off planning everything. I'm dyslexic, so I have to plan out everything, and everything has to be organized for me to function well. So I have a certain day that I'll do everything. I have a certain day that I work on this, a certain day that I work on that. So I took the time to write out my schedule on what I want to do. I have the goals. I set a goal poster. For me personally, we have one together as a family, but I set my own personal goals that I want to achieve. So I'll set certain days to do certain things. For instance, Friday is date night or date day. It doesn't matter. So I know on Friday, we're going to do something. I don't care what it is. And it's not all about money. It's not all about going all out, which we do have dates like that. You know, we do have a date out of the year, a certain time set that we go, and that's our Live Like Oprah weekend, we call it. But we save up to celebrate that day. But every Friday we set aside time to have a date day. And I take the responsibility of saying, this is what I want to do. Oh, and I'm excited about it. And I get excited and bring it to him in anticipation leading up to that day. So I just don't blurt it out, well, let's go to the movies. I take the time to think. Once this Friday, Saturday, I'm already thinking on the next Friday. What can we do? How can we make it better? What can I do to surprise him? And it's the small things along the way, which it might be a letter, it might be a little note that I'm writing, I'm slipping in his truck, or I'm slipping in his lunch bag, or a text that I'm sending. Just constantly keeping that romance alive. Because like I said, love is just not enough. Love is how you feel. Romance is what you do about how you feel. And taking it to that next level.
And can you share what are your goals on your goals poster? One or two?
Oh, wow. Oh, I have so much. I hate it and bring it. One of my goals is for us, my husband is an entrepreneur as well. So I want to go to Alaska. And
Okay.
I want to go on an Alaskan honeymoon cruise. So that is one of my goals that I want us to do. And he wants to go to, I can't think of it. It's somewhere in the Bahamas. He wanted to go and do some things there. So he likes the beach. I'm not a beach girl at all. So I want to be up with all the snow and all that. I want to be there, and he wants to be on the beach. So that's one of our goals. And a smaller goal is I want to get more intentional about encouraging him. That's something that I do, but I want to be more intentional about it. I want to catch it right when I'm like, okay, he needs it now. And I just instantly pick up on it. So that's a small thing that I'm working on, is encouraging him. I get it kind of on the tail end of it. I'm like, oh, well, he just needs a little encouraging, but it's usually a day late. So I want to get intentional about picking up on those signs when he really, really, really needs encouraging and pouring into, and not catching it kind of on the decline when he's kind of like, okay, just really down. I want to catch it instantly before it gets too low.
And like financial, like money matters really matter in the relationship. Like how do you divide money between, and like how do you manage financial decisions?
Okay, now that is a biggie as well. A lot of marriages end over money situations. Now that's something that has to be established from the beginning. You have to communicate, which goes back to communication. You have to communicate. Usually in a relationship, there's always one person that loves to spend and one person that loves to save.
Yes.
So if you're the person that loves to spend, which I'm one of those, I haven't. So I love to spend, he loves to save. So I had to tame and put myself on a budget. I have to say, look, this, once it gets above this, that sends him into a whole panic mode. So I can control this panic mode by simply not spending as much. So you have to identify that. And it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit. And it's always that independent woman that wants to kind of stand up and roar, just like, this is my money. If I want to buy it, I'll buy it. So we have to control that, because then at the end of the month, when we don't have enough, it's like, well, I don't know what happened. I need help. So we have to be aware of that. And if you have a husband, if you're blessed with one like mine, who's always got his eye on the bottom dollar, and he'll let me know, like, honey, okay, now that's enough. So allowing him to, if he handles it and he handles it well, allow him to do that and not add stress by overspending. Now, sometimes I have to say, like, honey, we really need this. Now, this is for the family. And then he'll fuss a little bit, but he'll see, like, okay, yeah, we really do need this. So go ahead. But just communication and understanding that balance and submitting to the fact. Submission is a word that some women like to think is a cuss word. But we have to submit. Submission is not weakness. I want to say that. I really want to stress that. Submission means that you allow him to step into his role and do his role. You submit. Not that he's smarter, not that he's above you. It just has to be some order in the household. So you submit to some decisions that you might not quite agree with, but you just say, okay, well, honey, I'm going to trust you in this. And you take the co-pilot, because sometimes the pilot is going to get tired and he's going to rely on the co-pilot. But if you study always up there trying to drive, you're going to be tired and he's tired at the same time. So allow him to drive. Sit back and submit to the passenger seat. So then when you see he gets tired, you can say, well, honey, take a break. I can handle it until you get your strength back. So just working together in that and understanding who's better at the finance. Now, if some women are better, some men doesn't care, some women are better. So my mom's, for instance, my mom handles money better than my dad. So she takes care of the money, and it could be vice versa, whichever way. And he submits to the fact that, hey, she's better at money, so I'm going to let her have it. So whichever way it goes, just communicating and understanding that.
Yeah, in my family, like my mother is better at managing, my father is better at spending. So like sometimes I see that like my father gives like not my mother won't do any job. She's a homemaker and she take care of us and she loves cooking, so she cooks for
so I love that. I love that.
Yes. And like sometimes he gives money to her to like to spend whatever you do. This is your money. And like after a couple of days he'll come back to her and ask for that, like, I need some money, I don't have.
I can agree with that.
Yes. With that little voice, cute voice, and ask her, she became like without anything, without any question, she will give.
I understand.
Yes. Like, do you really think jealous is also improves our relationship? Jealousy?
Jealousy, I think it hinders it.
Okay.
I think it hinders the relationship because it's putting focus in a different area. You can use that energy to put it towards your husband. So I don't really think that it's healthy for the relationship. I think that you can use that energy that you're using to be jealous to pour that into the relationship versus putting it in there. And especially, if you're bringing up another woman at home. That's the number one thing. Like if well, I saw that lady there in the grocery store that you were looking at. Don't bring her home. Leave her there. Don't bring up other women in the house. Leave them out. They're around him enough. Don't bring him home. And Lord knows, don't bring him in the bed. So when he's trying to sleep, don't tap him bringing up a woman or bringing up something. Leave him out. Have your home to be peaceful, to be a place of serenity, to be a place of love, a place of romance, a place of peace. Don't bring that into the household.
And like what you do in your coaching sessions, like what are the different things you give your clients?
Different things. Well, the very first thing is a consultation to see where they are, and do they understand where they are, and what are their goals? What do they want from their marriage? Where do they see themselves? And what is a good marriage in their eyes? Because everybody's idea of marriage is different. So understanding what their needs are. Is it a personal thing? Is it more self-esteem? Is it more dealing with infidelity? Is it more it's just the education part. You just don't know what to do. The spark was there. You don't know what happened to it. You want to learn how to ignite it back. So I have tons and tons of things. So we'll have games that they'll play. I have a list of different texts. If you just the shy type and you just like, I just don't know. I don't know how to flirt. And that's just something so simple. We start off with that. Understanding what type of flirt are they? Do they know how to flirt? Do their husband like to flirt? Just understanding them, getting to know them best. And one thing I always ask them is to keep me private, not to
Okay.
share that they're talking to me with their husband. I ask that they keep it private because I don't want their husband to fall for Sonya. I want them to reignite the romance that's in them. I want their romance queen to come out. So I ask that they keep me private and that we have these one-on-one sessions. They have access to me 24/7, that they can contact me or they can say, look, I struggle in this area. Help me with this. We'll go down, try to understand how to communicate with their husband, understanding how their husband communicates. And then I'll give them tips and tools to use whatever, pick out what they feel comfortable with in their words and transfer that to their husband.
And why you went to Evan's workshop? What is the reason behind it?
Oh, wow. To just get a broader perspective. I love the workshop. Oh, I loved it. I wish I could have went back the last time. But just to get a broader perspective and to get around like-minded entrepreneurs. And Evan, I woke up to Evan every single day.
Today.
I listened to his top 10 every single day. And then I stopped listening to the top 10 and start listening to all the Evan lives. So, I love. He's so inspirational. And so I wanted to go and just to be closer to people that had a passion to help other people. And so I really felt like that he was genuine. And then when I went to Toronto, I'm like, wow, you're just like you are on you're just like you are on YouTube. So I love it. It was a great experience. I love it.
And you also met his wife. What you
Yes,
learned from
Nina.
what? Yes, Nina. I love her.
Yeah, she is so sweet. I love her.
What do you learn from their relationship?
Well, just that they're genuine. It's not a facade. So it's not like they're one thing on camera, then they're another thing when they're not on camera. It's all pure and it's exactly what it looks like. Just a great relationship. So I loved it.
And you also met one extraordinary person, Lily.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I love Lily. She is the trip. I love her too. Oh,
Yes.
and J Rise, I can't forget him. Oh, I love
Yes.
him as well. Oh.
His thought process is quite different.
Yes, we talked for over an hour. We talked over dinner. It was just, oh yes, J Rise, born this way. We instantly clicked. So yes, I love him.
And what do you learn from Lily? And she has gone through so much of pain in her relationship, and so what advice you gave to her, and what you learned back from her?
The advice I gave her was that I want to see her inner romance queen. I want to see her embrace it and just let loose and let it out. And what she gave me was to tap into the trueness of myself and not dim my light to make others feel better. To just, if someone else's light is not shining, not to dim my light, thinking that it would comfort them, but to go ahead and let my light shine in order to encourage them to let theirs shine. And that's what she taught me.
Awesome. So what is the best tip you give to longevity in relationship?
Communication, dedication, and persistence. Oh, and setting goals.
Okay.
Setting goals. I have so many.
So, like, from that 3 day workshop, what is you learned, and what is a thing you are implementing in your business?
Consistency. That was something
Awesome.
that I'm that roller coaster, up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, one day I can go, 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 and I can just 18 hours straight. I could just go and work. I just love it so much. And then the next day I can work for 7 days like that. I just 7 days straight. And then the 8th day I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so drained. And then I'm drained for like 4 days, and then I'm back up. And so trying to get consistency, trying to get a consistent flow. So I'm still working on not hitting the snooze button, what Evan is always talking about. So I'm one of those snooze button hitters. So I'm still working on that. Not there yet.
Like, do you have any regrets in life? Like, I want to do something, but I didn't because of fear, or?
Yes, I regret not having tons of children. I do. I wanted to have about at least 7 children, and I wanted to be a stay-at-home housewife. That's what I wanted to do. But I have 2. I love them, so I have 2, and so I just adopted Yorkies. So now I'm a Yorkie mom. So. But yes, that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to have bunches of babies.
And like, what is the greatest fear you want to overcome in the coming days?
The greatest fear I want to overcome.
Or is there anything that you overcame?
That's a good one. Greatest fear. I don't know about that one. That's something I really have to. Well, let's see. Not dimming my lights. Not dimming, because I'm so comfortable in the background. I love to be in the background. I'm like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, cheering them on. And then when they're like, okay, well, Sonya, you come up, I'm like, no, I'm okay, you go ahead. I love cheering people on, and kind of taking the forefront is a little bit uncomfortable for me at times, but because I want them to get it and I want them to shine so much, that I love staying back and cheering them on. So, and I've got to learn how to cheer myself on while I'm cheering them on. So that will be something that I'm constantly working on, that, because I love being a cheerleader and cheering them on, like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. So.
And you are great on camera. Why don't you do live sessions every single day?
Oh,
just
I'm like, I have no idea what would I say on camera? What would I do on camera? But so
my advice is, like, pick a topic, and because you are very good at relationship and romance, so talk for 10 to 15 minutes every day, or because it can be helpful for someone to come out and tell their fears, or tell their like a pain in their relationship.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you so much. And any last message you want to tell to the audience?
Yes, pull out your inner romance queen. It's worth it. Your relationship is worth it. You will see it blossom, you will see it bloom, but it won't be overnight. But you will gradually see little things, and the more you do, the happier you'll be. The more you work on it, and the more you invest into your relationship, the happier you will be in your life. And thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I had so much fun.
Yeah. Because, like, I saw you on Evan's live sessions, and I saw you on Evan's videos, like you are on workshop with them. So I'm following since then.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes.
I'm honored. I am honored.
But I didn't take that step to talk to you.
Well, I'm
So,
honored that you did. I'm honored.
thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thanks, and have a great
Thank you.
day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're
Bye.
awesome. Can you say that? Hello, ladies. Or
Hello, ladies.
ladies. Thank
Have
you,
a great
ladies.
day.
Bye.
Bye.